It is another soaker of a weather day across the Bluegrass State. Heavy rains on the move. We'll fire up your Defender Radar Network coming up.
A woman found dead in the Lexington home, and investigators call it a homicide case. What neighbors told us about the victim.
I think this thing might get out of control if we ain't careful.
A WKYT exclusive. Country music star Eddie Montgomery warning fans about a fake Facebook account that's using his identity.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening. Tonight, a round of heavy rain is moving across the Bluegrass, and flooding could become an issue in some places.
For the very latest, we begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. He shows us what he is tracking on the Defender Radar Network right now.
Yeah, if we are to get some local high water issues, guys, it would be on a smaller creek or a stream. Just now crossed over 1 inch of rain here at the station on Winchester Road for the day in Lexington. Most of that coming this afternoon. It is still coming down to beat the band. Hamburg Pavilion in the distance, 61 degrees. Winds aren't too strong at all, but it's just adding a little chill to the air. Now we look at that Defender Radar Network and that wall of water that continues to make its way through the area. Coming down at a good clip, still London and Corbin into eastern and southeastern Kentucky. Heavy downpours, 460 Mountain Parkway, Interstate 64, likely picking up on some ugly travel conditions there along 62, crossing out of Scott County into sections of Harrison County. Downtown Lexington, rains are trying to lighten up just a little bit, but look to our south and southwest. Still plenty of showers to go through over the next 2 to 3 hours before a little bit of drying takes place latter part of the evening into the wee hours of the morning around that area of low pressure. But I want to draw your attention to what's going on around the Indianapolis area and west. See how some showers are popping across parts of Indiana, Illinois. That will rotate in here as we go through the day tomorrow. That future radar, though, for the evening ahead showing a much better picture taking shape as the heavy rain continues to work on out of town, though still some gusty showers a possibility over the next several hours. Guys, when I come back in a little bit, we'll look at a new hour-by-hour forecast for that Saturday forecast and show you how we go from rain to a little bit of sun, rain, sun. The old fight is on in a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. Now to some breaking news that we're following tonight. Investigators are trying to figure out what led to a woman's death inside a Lexington home. The Fayette County coroner is calling it a homicide.
The coroner says the woman was found dead this morning in a house on Pickney Drive near Mason Headley Road. Kristen Kennedy joins us live with the breaking details. Kristen.
Sam, friends have started coming over here, and they're checking to see if they can do anything for Amy Kogel's children. We're told that Kogel had 3 children that she's now left behind. The oldest was around 12. The youngest was around 5. We're also told that she was a Girl Scout troop leader, and that at 10 this morning, the coroner pronounced her dead. Neighbors say they heard shots fired yesterday, about 9 of them around 3 in the morning. Right now, the coroner nor police will say when they think Kogel died. Police are telling us that they have a person they are questioning.
I'm glad they have someone in custody. Nobody deserves it, but I mean, she would have done anything for anybody, and it's just really hard to understand why somebody would do this.
Kogel was 43 years old. Live in Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Kristen, thank you. He calls it a personal attack. Tonight, country music star Eddie Montgomery is talking to us about a fake Facebook account using his identity.
The Central Kentucky native says the person behind it is pretending to be him and sending private messages to women, and Montgomery wants fans to know he has nothing to do with it. Monique Blair has this WKYT exclusive.
Twitter and Facebook and all that, man, it's a great tool to use.
Social media accounts across the board are well known to be beneficial to artists. But what happens when they're used against them?
You know, because it don't take but a second for, you know, a zillion people to hate you because, you know, something was said.
Country music artist Eddie Montgomery says this Facebook page right here claimed to be him, but he says the account does not belong to him, and he says the person behind the page was using his name to solicit women.
And said I was looking for women and, you know, call my number and let me know who you are and all this stuff. And I'm single and I'm very, very happily married.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available.
I called the number listed in one of the private messages. Nobody answered, but then I got a text message from that same number. The person on the other end first told me he was Darius Rucker, another country artist, before finally claiming to be Eddie. Then after I said I worked for WKYT and interviewed the real Eddie Montgomery, he appeared to still keep up the act, saying he didn't want to talk to me anymore. Not long after those text messages were exchanged, and I reached out to Facebook. The page in question was removed.
I know it comes with the job, but you know, a lot of times, man, some of that can be either hurtful.
Montgomery says he wants his fans to know he would never do something like this, especially because he is happily married.
And you hate for somebody to, you know, make it look bad what you've worked hard all your life for.
Folks like us like to live a little on the simple outside small.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Well, although this most recent Facebook account was removed, Montgomery said he would look into pressing charges if fake pages continue to pop up. New tonight, Winchester police have released a sketch of an assault suspect. Police say someone was recently assaulted on the walking trail near the intersection of Colby Road and Bypass Road. They say the suspect was wearing a black shirt and khaki pants and was walking a yellow dog. Winchester police also say he's white, about 5'9", has a medium build, short brown hair, and is about 45 years old.
The National Rifle Association's convention kicked off today in Louisville, and most of the attention on this first day of the event was on presumptive Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. During his speech at the convention this afternoon, he didn't hold back when talking about Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton. Victor Puente has more.
70,000 people are expected to come to this convention over the next 3 days. The weekend started with Donald Trump receiving the NRA's endorsement for president. This is the national convention for the gun lobbying group. Now that Trump seems to have locked up the Republican nomination for president, executive directors here urged members to vote for him. Trump spent much of his speech talking about the Democratic frontrunner, Hillary Clinton.
Hillary wants to disarm vulnerable Americans in high crime neighborhoods. Whether it's a young single mom in Florida or a grandmother in Ohio, Hillary wants them to be defenseless.
He also said Clinton's rival for the Democratic nomination, Bernie Sanders, should run as an independent.
She's not equipped to be president in so many different ways, but this is the thinking of a person that is not equipped to be the president of the United States, believe me.
Not only did he talk about the Second Amendment and strengthening gun rights, he also mentioned his choice for the next appointments to the Supreme Court and how he would impact global trade.
We won't be having trade deficits of $500 billion a year with China anymore, folks. They won't be taking our jobs out of here and Kentucky and lots of other places, every place. They won't be taking our jobs and bringing them into Mexico.
Trump thanked the crowd before leaving. Back in March, he won Kentucky's Republican presidential caucus after it had been moved up to allow Rand Paul to run for both Senate and president. Paul also spoke at today's convention. In Louisville, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The NRA convention has also drawn some protesters. They plan to march through Louisville today before stopping for a prayer rally at the Galt House.
Today, a judge set a trial date for a man accused of killing a Richmond police officer. Raleigh Sizemore has been charged with murder. Last November, police say he shot Officer Daniel Ellis during an ambush at a Richmond home. Police say Officer Ellis was investigating an attempted robbery at the time. After talking to prosecutors and the defense, the judge scheduled Sizemore's trial for July 5th of 2017. Prosecutors say they'll seek the death penalty in the case.
Tonight, a fallen Kentucky State Police trooper is being honored in his hometown. 23-year-old trooper Eric Chrisman died last June in a crash while on duty in western Kentucky. He grew up in Lawrenceburg. As part of National Police Officers Memorial Week, a wreath will be placed at his grave at Sand Spring Baptist Cemetery in Anderson County.
New tonight, Eastern Kentucky University has released renderings of what 2 new residence halls on campus will look like. The new Martin and Brockton halls are now under construction. EKU leaders say they'll offer nearly 1,100 beds in suite-style rooms. They say the new residence halls are being funded through private investments. Martin and Brockton halls are scheduled to open for students in the fall of 2017.
We have an update tonight on the work going on to restore the old Fayette County Courthouse.
The city closed the building back in 2012 because of hazardous lead levels. City leaders say right now crews are removing asbestos in the building. A proposal calls for creating a 2-floor atrium, adding glass floors and new lighting in the building. The plan calls to begin some demolition around the building this summer. The project could be finished in 2018.
They will soon be graduating from high school, but today some Henry Clay High School seniors took a walk down memory lane. The seniors were greeted to cheers and smiles at Breckenridge Elementary, where some of them once went to school. Current Breckenridge students packed the halls to celebrate with the class of 2016. Organizers of the senior walk say the goal is to inspire younger students to work hard in school.
We've always thought it's not our job to decide what kids be when they grow up, but giving them the skills and knowledge to have as many opportunities as possible and to see these young men and women go on and achieve their own dreams and be successful. It's a proud moment for us.
And this was the school's first senior walk. They plan to make it a tradition.
Now.